Topic is the status of children and youth in the state of Tennessee, and of course we're talking to the executive director of the Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth, Ms. Linda O'Neal. Ms. O'Neal, let me give you an opportunity over the last few minutes that we have here to sort of inform our audience about some information relative to early childhood education. We've had an opportunity on this show to talk to a number of people about early childhood education, and what we like to do is to sort of build up on that kind of information so that we know exactly how very, very important that is as a part of our children's education experience. Let's do it from that perspective.
Sure, I'm always glad to talk about early childhood education. It is probably the single best investment we can make to improve outcomes overall for our children. It is particularly important for children who live in low-income families to have opportunities to have either quality child care or the early childhood education programs. And in Nashville and across Tennessee, we've been adding more four-year-old programs for at-risk children, and we usually define those as children who live in families that are eligible for the free and reduced price lunch programs. That's really the indication of the level at which they need some extra assistance. We know that quality early childhood education makes a substantial difference in improving the likelihood that these children will start school ready to learn, that they will succeed in school, and they will be more successful as adults. There have been a lot of longitudinal studies, long-term studies of children who've been in quality early childhood education, comparing that to children who have not. And there's no question that being able to participate in a quality early childhood education program increases the likelihood that a child will be successful in school, that they will not need special education, that they'll not fail a grade, have to repeat a grade. It increases the chances that they will not drop out of school but will in fact graduate. It also, and when they graduate, then they'll be ready for either to go on to other education, either vocational, technical, or higher education, or they'll be more able to participate in the workforce. The other thing, though, that's really interesting is quality early childhood education can help reduce teen pregnancy, substance abuse, and involvement with the juvenile court system. So it's kind of like an immunization to prevent those kinds of adverse outcomes for children.
Now, how is the state of Tennessee responding to dealing with this aspect of education for young children?
We do have a few pilot programs, but we are still, and Head Start is a wonderful program that serves about 15 to 18,000 children, but we still have, are only meeting the needs of about half the children in Tennessee who critically need this quality early childhood education. This is the kind of investment that can help these children succeed not only in school, but it's a long-term investment to improve the quality of the workforce in Tennessee, which is very important for attracting industry. We know that one of the things we need for children and families are jobs, and good paying jobs, so that families can support their children. And if we develop a better educated workforce in Tennessee, we have better prospects of having the kinds of employers that we need.
You know, Ms. O'Neal, let's look at the Kids Count program. One of the things that I think was of some interest is the fact that there are many young children who are living in homes without an official breadwinner in that home. Explain exactly what that means and the impact that is having upon the state of Tennessee.
One of the areas where we've gone in the wrong direction is in having an increased number of children who are living in homes where neither parent has a full-time year-round job. And that's really been a result of the declining economy in Tennessee in the early, beginning around 2000, 2001. And we've seen in terms of the Families First caseloads and the food stamp caseloads in Tennessee, they've also gone up at the same time. It's real important for families to have the resources they need to support their children. One of the things we've noticed, though, in the Kids Count essay this year talks about what it calls disconnected young adults. And these are young adults between 18 and 24 who are particularly vulnerable because they are transitioning out of foster care or the juvenile justice system, or they don't have a high school education, or they're young parents. And all of these things make it more difficult for them to be successful. We have in Tennessee 1 out of 4 young adults between 18 and 24 is not in the workforce or in college. That compares to 1 out of 5 nationally, so we have a higher proportion. We really do have an obligation as a society to try to help these young adults make the connections that they need with mentors, with jobs, with things that can help them successfully transition to young adulthood. We know from studies that the average age at which a young person is truly independent from their family is when they're 26. And so